Don't bring me down. Don't bring me, don't.
Welcome back, you guys. So today we're going to be working on the CZ97B. And lately I've had a lot of CZ owners reach out to me, talk to me about the CZP10, talk to me about some of the other models. Can we do this? Can we do that? If you haven't seen the new CZP10 video that I put out, go back and watch it. There's a lot of really cool stuff in there, stuff that the market hasn't seen before, just really off the beaten path of the industry standard, and it kind of gives you an idea of what we can do. But today we're going to be working on the 97B. Now, what the customer wants to do on this is we want to do what I would call, I guess it's sort of a raptor cut slash serration because it's on the side. It's a little of both. What we want to do is add some cuts, an angled cut through here. So we're going to do 5 cuts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to stop somewhere up in this nose area here. Now let me explain this a little bit better. So it's hard to see, but what it is on the 97Bs, they take a bushing on the front, okay? So there's a barrel bushing that goes up inside of there, and the main thing we want to do is, one, we want to stay away from that, okay? So we don't want to get anywhere near that. We don't want to have the barrel fighting and the bushing fighting for space and for anything else. That's just a big no-no, so we're going to stay away from that. Now the other thing is that if you look at the inside of the slide here, and it is hard to see, you can see that right here is a different depth than right here, okay? It's hard to see where I'm pointing at with my pen, but basically what we have here is the slide itself is thinner up in here, and then it gets to be thicker up in here, not just where the bushing is, but also back a little bit. So the bushing stops like right around here, I would say, and that thickness stops somewhere up into here. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna try to have our last or our forwardmost cut stop somewhere where we're still in the same depth on the side and on the nose. The reason why is because we want all 5 of these to match, okay? So we don't want, you know, certain depth, certain depth, certain depth, odd depth. We don't really want that. We want them to all match like they're supposed to. And we also want to make sure that we leave enough room from where the barrel's going to lock up to where our first cut is, or our closest cut to the barrel is. So there's a lot of things that we're kind of working with here. We're going to be using a 3/16 cutter. We seem to have quite a bit of room in between here, but by the time you take 3/16 and you times that by 5, then you times the space by 4, you end up having not a whole lot of space between them. So we want something that's going to show some nice cutting on the sides, and we're going to have some pretty thin walls between our cuts, okay? So they're not going to be, it's not going to be a serration right on a serration or a point. There will be a flat spot, and we're not 100% sure how that's going to come out because we do obviously have some existing cuts here. So we're just going to play that one by ear. We are working through some of the existing serrations that are on the slide itself, so we don't have any control over that. But what we want to do is we want to go ahead and get this put in the vise like this, and then we're going to be using our special vise to go ahead and change the angle of it, because what we don't want to do is cut like this, flat. We want this to be rotated up. We want this to be the high point, okay? So basically, if you look down through here, the high point, which would be right here, and I know this is really hard to see, but guys, but the high point right here, which would be the most narrow point to where we punch through, so that's where we actually want to start as our high point, and we're going to cut down from there. What we don't want to do is get up into the top rib, right up in here, and what we don't want to do is get down low enough to where we're actually causing some kind of an issue with the actual frame. So we got to be careful with what we're doing, and we need to make sure that we do it right. So guys, let's take you over to the CNC. Let's go ahead and get this cranked out. Let's go ahead and bring this back. Alright guys, so one of the things I'll note here is that I'm not a big fan of cutting outside of the jaws, okay, but the issue with this is we need to put it at a certain angle, and in order to get that angle, we've got to cut outside of the jaws or we're not going to achieve what we're after. So we're cutting really slow. Obviously we're using coolant, we got a new cutter in here. So there's lots of reasons why this is going to go the right way and we're not going to have any issues. However, I don't recommend this normally. Alright guys, well, I'm not sure what happened here, but sometimes when you look at a slide and you're sitting there at the computer and you're figuring out the drawings and taking measurements of everything, and you're like, man, this is going to come out awesome and it's going to look great, and then all of a sudden you do it and you're kind of like, yeah, that's not really the vision I had. and that's kind of where we are here. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this video mid cutting, is because I reached out to the customer, let them know kind of what's going on here a little bit, let them know that I just wasn't really happy with the way that it came out. You know, we should have added a 6th serration. We should have went ahead and done the porting just a little bit different. I would have came out just a little bit better. They gave me the go ahead and said, yeah, fix it, do what you want to do, you know, make it look right. And that's kind of what we're doing now. And you know, as I've told you guys in the past, sometimes it's a learn as you go, you know. And I have not done one of these slides before in comparison to, say, a Glock or an M&P or some of the other CZs that I've even done. So you know, I'm learning as we're going. And a lot of what I do is a custom project that somebody has a vision, right? So they say, hey, can we do some serrations? Can we do a pocket? Can we do the side shaving? Can we do this? Can we do that? And some of those I haven't done before on those models, because there's lots of different models out there. So we're kind of altering the path as we go here. So at the beginning of my video, you'll hear me talk about doing 5 serrations and doing a little bit of porting and doing a little of this and a little of that. And we're kind of just getting off that beaten path and revising our idea as it evolves. So that's what we're doing now. So we're adding a 6th serration to the side, and we're also going to go back with an 1/8 inch cutter, and inside of these serrations we're actually going to do some individual porting so we can see a little bit more of that barrel. And guys, once that's all done, I'm going to go ahead and explain it to you just a little bit better. I will bring you guys back over to the stainless table. We'll go ahead and put you guys back under the light, and we'll just kind of go into depth here just a little bit more from what the original idea was to kind of where we are now. So I'm going to go ahead and get this somewhat finished up here. You're going to see a couple more clips of us actually doing the porting with that 1/8 inch cutter inside of these serrations, and then we'll get you guys over to the table. All right, guys, well, I was able to go ahead and finish up those serrations. Like I said in the video earlier, I just didn't really like the way that the porting came out, because we had to go so deep in order to actually see anything. We did break through, but the problem with it is that we just didn't really break through far enough to where we were going to see enough barrel. You know, I reached out to the customer was cool with it, changing the design midway through it, and you know, they've got a tin barrel, so obviously they want to see some barrel. We're not making serrations on the sides just to make some serrations. So you know, let's make the change, let's do it right, and let's progressively move forward with the project. It came out really nice. I think originally the customer was going to try to salvage the finish on the outside, but unfortunately, with as many you know, little fragments of strands that were kind of left over of metal. The other thing is that one of the reasons why it really wasn't going to happen with the existing coating was because, you know, this started out as these forward cocking serrations, I guess, or this little pattern they ran on here, and then it kind of turned into like these chainsaw teeth. So now, you know, as I ran through here, and I've got some more cleanup to do, but as it went through here, some of these were like twisted sideways a little bit, and just not everything was coming out exactly as planned. So I'll use my pen here, but so you can see that some of these are right up to the very edge, and then some of them are shorter and shorter and shorter, and then they go back up to the edge. So some of these were twisted. These tips and these tails were all twisted on there. So I had to use a square file actually to sort those out and correct those. So now we've got everything back kind of in the order of where it kind of where it should be, you know, and everything's square and straight. And when the slide ends up getting recolored, it won't be, you know, these teeth won't be kind of jagged off to the side or whatever the case is. And it's also somewhat friendly on your hands. So it's not, it won't, you know, one, we don't have to worry about it chipping off and peeling off because it's just a little tail once it's colored, and two, we don't have to worry about it digging a hole in your hand. So, but definitely has a lot more texture, a lot more grip, and a lot more pattern here that you'll be able to slide this with to the rear of the gun when you're cycling. But it's really quite pleasing to look at. I mean, it's a really nice pattern overall. We came out really nice on the top here as well, so we didn't break into the channel here. We have some nice evenness here and some nice evenness here, so you can see that everything is, let's see if I can get you guys a little closer. So everything is real nice and even down through here. So guys, what that means is it's time to match up the other side. I'm then going to go ahead and do the sandblasting and go ahead and get the all the deburring done, because it ended up, like I said before, it ended up making a lot of tails down through here now that this is more like some chainsaw teeth and less less serrations that were on there. It was pretty aggressive when it came right off the CNC. So I'll go ahead and run the all the patterns that we need to run. I'll go ahead and clean all these up right here, sandblast it, and let me just bring you guys back. All right, guys, well, we are all set with the slide. I'm going to go ahead and pull it off here. Let's just take a look and see what we have. It's pretty filthy. You can see a lot of kind of jagged metal here hanging off. What I'm going to do here real quick is just kind of air this off. I'm not going to do anything else. Just kind of remove all the water off of it and all the coolant. I'm going to take you guys over to the light on the stainless table. Let's take a look at it before I have to go through the process of sandblasting and filing and everything else. All right, guys, this is straight off the CNC machine. It's kind of hard to see. We still have got a lot of coolant on here, which has some different properties in it, which kind of gives you that oily appearance a little bit here. But I wanted to talk about the serrations that we cut on here. The windows, they look pretty nice as well, but really what it comes down to is this, all the cleanup. You know, so one of the things, like I said earlier in this video, is I think the customer was interested in possibly salvaging the external finish that was already on the slide from CZ, but at the end of the day, it just kind of comes down to that's not always going to happen. I mean, sometimes it sounds like a good idea, but we really need to take it through the process, do a final cleanup, do the filing, do the sanding, do the sand blasting, that kind of stuff. So a lot of times I think when you send me something, you're probably going to be needing to get it coated. Whether I do the coating for you because I'm offering those now, or whether it's sent out and it's tin coated, PVD coated, whatever kind of path you take. But it's just something to kind of know, just to understand a little bit better. But guys, what we're going to do now is I'm going to sandblast this, clean this up. I'm going to get this so where the sides pretty much match each other. Let's go ahead and just do a real quick review and see what we have here. All right, I went ahead and filed all those jagged points off so that way now I won't lose any skin and neither will the customer. So it's one of those deals where I had to kind of go back and just kind of file all of them in the same direction, go ahead and just kind of anything that had a little bit of a tail that you guys had seen a minute ago, kind of get rid of all that so it's not jagged and sharp and crazy. And it came out really, really nice. I went ahead and sandblasted both sides pretty heavy, go ahead and peeled all the stuff off so we can really see what's going on here. And you know, one of the things I want to say about this particular project was it was way harder than I had originally anticipated it. Okay, I didn't figure it was going to be this challenging, but then as I got the slide in hand and I started looking at it, you know, I noticed that obviously it's flat here, then we have a taper, then it's tapered again, then we have a flat on the top, and also, you know, this was one of the points of which I zeroed off on, which was right here, if we can get this to focus, which is right here because it's the closest to inside of where the slide is. So the main deal is that when you start cutting passes through here, it would penetrate here first. But look how deep that is, super deep, right? So one of the deals is when you take a cutter and you run it this way and you run it up through the top and you don't want to go through the crest of the top, you got to make sure that you're not taking off too much material on the bottom. And at the angle that you have it at, when you run it, if you keep running it, eventually it's going to poke out through the top before it grows longer down here. So it really just came out being where there wasn't enough penetration to get down into the side and actually create a port over the distance and at the angle we were cutting it at. Now, I've never done one of these before, And from what I could tell online, there's not a whole handful of people that are out there doing them. I mean, there's a couple, but there's not an abundance amount. You can't reach out to your main guys and be like, hey, I want this cut. They're just going to say, no, choose from our drop down, your Glock or your M&P, or if we're lucky, we'll do Springfield. So it's kind of one of those deals where we had to work through some existing text. We had to work through some existing serrations that were on there. We had to work with a challenging slide. So, and that's kind of what I'm telling you guys, is that I end up getting a lot of projects from my customers. They come through the door. A lot of different things that are not necessarily Glock, M&P, Springfield. I do some CZs. I've done some Berettas. I've done, some other slides that you guys haven't seen. Go to my Instagram and you guys can see some of the other projects that I've done there. But really for me, what it is customizing something for you and meeting your needs. Unfortunately, I think the customer was after some more barrel visibility after I've kind of sent some pictures to the customer. I think overall they like the quality of work. We're hoping that maybe they were going to see some more visibility of the barrel, because they're planning on having the barrel tin coated. That's one of the reasons why I brought out a barrel today. This is not a barrel for this gun. This is a P10 barrel. However, it does fit in, but it's not the right barrel. So we're gonna go ahead and put it in here. Obviously we're gonna go ahead and see some barrel. We can see there's some big gap over here where the barrel's quite a bit lower than what it normally would be. That's why we can see through here. You can see my finger through the backside. But what I am gonna show you is that we can see some nice barrel. And I do think that was one of the things that the customer was after. However, I think they were after seeing more of the barrel. The most challenging thing about this particular slide is that we need to make sure we leave enough room from where the barrel locks up to where our actual port is so we don't crack the slide. But it's the bushing area is really what kills the project. Inside of here where the bushing is, and you guys can kind of see some threads down in there, that bushing comes all the way up into like here. Okay, so basically it comes up into this area somewhere. And what you don't want to do is you don't want to cut any ports down in through the extra material that's in there, because if you do, you're weakening the slide and you're always taking a chance that the barrel and the bushing are going to be competing with each other. Maybe it's not going to stay tight, whatever the case may be. So there's lots of reasons why you don't want to go up in there. And really that's the deal breaker on a slide like this, is that bushing. It restricts you, holds you back. Whereas like on a Glock, even on your M&Ps, it's got a real big bull nose here. Okay, so the nose of the slide is very thick. So from about here forward is very, very thick on a Glock, giving you an opportunity to do extra work there, or even extra, larger holes on the side, because you have that extra support in the front from where you're leaving a strut here and a strut on the side, and you don't have to worry about that flexing. So guys, overall, I'm real happy with the way it came out. I'm happy with the quality of work that was turned out. I think that the customer was maybe after a little bit more barrel visibility, but sometimes it just doesn't pan out, especially when it's on a different kind of slide that there aren't a lot of people out there offering services for. So you don't really have a whole lot of things to go off of. You can't really Google and see what you're looking for, because really no one's done it. All right, guys, if this is your first go around and you have not seen my other videos, go back and watch some of my other videos, taking into consideration of subscribing. If you like the content, give me a thumbs up. If you like me as a whole, as far as the company goes and all the other stuff that I do, go on my Instagram, go on my Facebook, follow me on those. You'll see the new content as it comes out. That's always cool to have my followers kind of navigate over to the other media sites that I use. And guys, one of the advantages of using Instagram is that you probably saw a picture of this before the video actually came out. I have a tendency to try to keep some of my followers kind of a little bit updated, a little bit ahead of the time of when a video comes out. You guys get to see that work just a little bit quicker, and you also get to see projects that don't turn into videos. So cool reasons to follow me on Instagram. And guys, one of the things I want to say is thank you. I was curious and I was wondering if we were actually going to get to 1,500 subscribers by the end of the year, and we have blown way past that already, and we're just going to continue to grow. That's what this channel is all about. It's about working on stuff that maybe some of the other companies out there don't want to work on, turn out some of that product that those guys won't touch. So reach out to me. If you've got something, you're curious what we can do, you've seen something online, you haven't seen anything online, you just have an idea, reach out to me and let me know what's going on. But I want to talk to you guys for a real quick second about new hardware. We've got a new machine coming in, nothing like you guys have seen before. It doesn't match any of the other machines I have, totally different, and it's going to give us an opportunity to cut a lot of new stuff. We're going to be able to work with other things like acrylic and rubber and leather and sheet metal. So we're going to be able to cut all kinds of stuff. I'm really excited about it. We should have the machine in here in just a couple of weeks, and you guys will be the first to see it, and we'll be running all kinds of sample stuff. So if there's an idea, once the machine comes in, if there's something that you want to see done, feel free to reach out to me, and we're definitely going to be taking on requests, because we're going to be pushing the machine to its limits and my knowledge to its limits, so we can get kind of up to par on the machine and get running. So really cool. So subscribe if you want to see that as it comes out. We should be within 30 days or less. So we're kind of on the countdown now from the point of which that machine should arrive, and we should be working on it. So really, really cool. But guys, if you need me, I'm only an email, a call, or a text away. The contact information is on our webpage, NCEngravers.com. And obviously on the bottom of this video, you can see I have an email, mark@NCEngravers.com. Feel free to send me any kind of comment, question, or concern that you have, and we'll work through it. Thank you, guys.